more and more I've been noticing that a lot of people are promoting coffee as a health beverage. I'll see news article after news article claiming that, coffee has all kinds of health benefits. Oh, it prevents diabetes, Parkinson's disease, and, a bunch of other diseases. Basically, they're saying it's a panacea. Look, I have no doubt that coffee has certain health benefits. We've all heard that the healing powers of coffee enemas, for instance. So this video is not about completely trashing coffee. I do think coffee has its purpose. What I'm talking about in this video is drinking coffee on a daily basis. I personally gave up coffee about a year ago. I've since switched to hot chocolate. Chocolate has been an excellent substitution for coffee, in my opinion, as well as yerba mate. We're going to get into this. And before I get into the research and what I've learned, I want to say that I totally understand how you've been misled to think coffee is healthy. Because we have all these health gurus claiming that coffee drinkers live longer than non-coffee drinkers. And we have articles, and after article after article. This is a bunch of misleading stuff, okay? And there's a lot of stuff that these health gurus and the articles will not tell you. They're not telling you the full story. So it's a trap. It's a health trap that I think could cost you your life. Here it is. Let's start off with some of the facts. Coffee drinkers as a whole are likely to die younger than non-coffee drinkers. That's a fact. Now, why is this? This is simply because people who drink coffee are also more likely to smoke, drink, and make many other unhealthy lifestyle choices. So as a tendency in general, coffee drinkers are the kind of people that are not as concerned about their health, and that lack of concern seems to be why they indulge in coffee. Coffee drinkers, as a whole, are more likely to have that kind of addictive personality. And so coffee drinkers are going to be more likely to do drugs and drinking and smoking and all these sort of things. And on the flip side of this, it's the health-conscious people. The group of people who are going to avoid coffee are those health-conscious people, as a group, as a whole. And if we look at the data, and if we exclude coffee drinkers who smoke, who drink alcohol, or who are doing unhealthy habits, then what? So that is the important question. And another thing we should be asking, to get an accurate overall picture of what's going on with coffee, we have to compare coffee to other things that have caffeine in it, such as yerba mate. In terms of health effects. What are the health effects of coffee compared to yerba mate? Now, yerba mate is another source of caffeine, and it has about as much caffeine as coffee. I personally drink yerba mate. I think it's great. And if yerba mate isn't killing people in the same way that coffee is killing people, then we can conclude that caffeine isn't the reason coffee is bad. There must be something else in coffee that is the culprit for why it's cutting people's lives short. So we all know coffee is a huge source of caffeine. But besides caffeine, coffee is also a source of acrylamide. Now, acrylamide is a known carcinogen. Okay, it causes cancer. And that's why Starbucks has to put up warning signs. By law, Starbucks has to warn people that the acrylamide in coffee causes cancer or is associated with increased cancer risk. And most people don't know that coffee also contains fluoride. And fluoride has been shown to cause calcification. Okay, calcification. And this could be why some studies reveal that coffee increased the risk of bone fractures. And this is just one of the many reasons why health-conscious people avoid fluoride. Now, the data also shows that coffee raises homocysteine levels, which is strongly associated with an increased risk of Alzheimer's. And so that could explain why some studies have found an increased risk of Alzheimer's with coffee drinkers. So the evidence is stacking up against coffee as being a health beverage. So coffee can be a little confusing because at the same time it's helping with certain diseases and being a preventative for certain diseases, but causing other diseases at the same time. So it's a mixed bag. So we know that coffee contains acrylamide and fluoride. Bad news for coffee drinkers. Okay, but what about the caffeine itself? Studies suggest that caffeine might shorten telomeres. Now, coffee lengthens telomeres. it's a contradiction, right? So if coffee is high in caffeine, and caffeine is supposed to shorten telomeres, then why does drinking coffee seem to benefit telomere length? We have to explain this. And it's most likely because there's something else in the coffee that is partially negating the negative effects of the caffeine. Or there could be a substance in coffee that is directly increasing telomere length more than the caffeine is decreasing the telomere length. And I think from my research, this substance is chlorogenic acid. And this is definitely a beneficial substance that is in coffee. But guess what? Yerba mate also contains chlorogenic acid. But guess what yerba mate doesn't have? Acrylamide. So yerba mate has the beneficial chlorogenic acid without the cancer-causing acrylamide. And yerba mate has much less fluoride in it than coffee. So overall, yerba mate is looking like it's going to be a good substitution for coffee. And as far as the caffeine in yerba mate, it's a bit different because yerba mate drinkers consistently report that yerba mate doesn't have that jittery effect that coffee has. So I personally noticed that too. I can drink tons of yerba mate and never get a jittery effect. That tells me that the caffeine effect of yerba mate is much better on the adrenal glands. It's not burning out your adrenal glands in the same way that coffee drinking does. So if you want a kind of a lift, a mental lift, yerba mate is a good way to go. Because I think that yerba mate would be the true longevity promoting herb, as compared to coffee. Okay, let's try to summarize this. To wrap things up, okay, the bottom line is that we can't say for sure if coffee shortens or lengthens life. We can't say for sure now because we just don't have enough information yet. We don't have enough studies to say that coffee is the explicit reason why coffee drinkers are dying sooner. But why drink coffee when we can get a similar benefit from yerba mate without the bad stuff like acrylamide, without the Alzheimer's causing effect of coffee? Clearly, that it would make no sense to drink coffee. Now, maybe for someone on the standard American diet, just a crappy diet, someone who's not even getting very many antioxidants at all, then coffee might actually be extending their life. And it might actually benefit their telomeres because it's providing antioxidants and some chlorogenic acid. And most people, they're not getting much antioxidants from other sources because they just eat such a bad diet. But for health-conscious people who eat a very healthy diet, we don't need coffee for antioxidants. We don't need coffee for chlorogenic acid. And if you were concerned that, maybe you'd be missing out on some particular constituent of coffee, okay, then go for green coffee bean extract. That's filled with chlorogenic acid too, and there's no acrylamide. But I don't even think we need green coffee extract because we can get chlorogenic acid from yerba mate, and there's plenty of antioxidants in foods like chocolate. Hot chocolate, that can be another substitution for coffee. And berries, plenty of antioxidants in berries and foods like beans, nuts, and vegetables. And look, if we're eating a healthy diet and we're drinking things like yerba mate, we can have the telomere lengthening effect of coffee without the negatives. Well, anyways, that's about it. Until next time, may you live forever.